Yep. Don't touch me.
No.
No, do not touch me,
Can you
sir.
go back round the...
do you mind not pushing me? I will fall over, sir.
I'm not pushing you.
Yeah, you are, sir. Would you mind
I'll
standing
walk
back,
down the
sir?
step and
No,
you go
would
up,
you
yes.
mind standing back, sir?
So go back to the private area. Yep.
Okay, would you mind
Go
standing back,
to the
sir?
public area. Come on this
Okay.
way.
Well, first of all, you're not a police officer,
That's
so
right.
don't tell me what
But
to
you're
do,
on
sir.
property,
Can
so
you
let's go this way.
can you actually identify yourself first, sir?
No, you identify yourself.
I don't need to.
Neither do I.
Okay.
Back round here.
No chance, sir. Right.
You put your arms on me. Yes, I
No, you walk straight up to me, sir. Do not even try that one. It's all on camera, so don't worry about that, sir. So, and don't worry, I'll be requesting a copy of that. So you got a PCSO here, refusing to identify himself. Okay.
I walk into
21907.
Welcome to Operation Audit, where we shine a light on police misconduct and hold public officials accountable. Today's clip comes from one of the sharpest auditors operating in the UK right now, someone who consistently delivers excellent content, so head down to the description and go show them some support. If you are new here, hit subscribe because you do not want to miss what we cover next. Now this encounter starts out looking like a straightforward public audit, but it does not stay that way for long. Officers begin pushing boundaries and applying pressure, testing just how much this auditor knows about his rights. But rather than backing down or getting flustered, he holds his ground, keeps his composure, and uses pure legal knowledge to turn the whole situation completely on its head. So let us get straight into it because this one escalates fast.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good.
Sir, can I help?
Pardon?
Can I help you?
Well, first of all, could you identify yourself for me, please?
Of course I can identify myself. So just let me to park and then...
No worries, no problem.
Because I can't identify myself to you whilst I'm driving.
No worries,
It's
perfect.
process, yeah.
No, that's cool.
Just
No
let me
worries.
to park the car and I'll come and speak to you guys.
Not a problem.
Okay? Can you just get out of there because of the safety of your...
No, I'm fine exactly where I am.
Okay.
So, well, let me just move out the way because you've got this officer here. So,
Hello, mate. You right?
yep. Don't
Yeah,
touch me.
No.
No, do not touch me,
Can you go
sir.
back round the,
do you
to
mind
the
not
right-
pushing me? I will fall over, sir.
I'm not pushing you.
Yeah, you are, sir. Would you mind
I'll
standing
walk
back,
down the
sir?
step and you
No,
go
would
up,
you
yes.
mind standing back,
So
sir?
go back to the private area. Yep.
Okay, would you mind
Go back to the
standing back,
public
sir?
area. Come on this way.
Okay. Well, first of all, you're not a police officer,
That's
so
right.
don't tell me what
But
to
you're
do,
on
sir.
private property,
Can
so
you
let's go this way.
can you actually identify yourself first, sir?
No, you identify yourself.
I don't need to.
Neither do I.
Okay.
Back round here.
No chance, sir.
Can you come back round?
No chance, sir.
That's right.
Okay. So, guys, as you can see, this PCSO here just came out and just tried to completely push me out the way. Right.
You put your arms on me as I walk
No,
down the
you walk
stairs.
straight up to me, sir. Do not even try that one. It's all on
Okay.
camera, so don't worry about that,
You're on
sir.
camera too.
So, and don't worry, I'll be requesting a copy of that.
I'll request a copy of yours too.
You've got no chance, sir. You're held
you've
by
got no chance.
GDPR. I'm not. So let's verify that,
Well, you're on
sir.
private property.
Well,
go-
are you the
let's go-
landowner? Are you the landowner, sir?
No, but I represent
no.
who does.
Okay.
So I'm asking you nicely.
No, you're a PCSO, so
That's
do not
right.
even attempt to
But I can
actually
ask you
speak
nicely.
to me.
If I walked
And I can
into-
decline, sir.
Okay. So if I walked into
So
your
I can
garden
decline,
without permission,
sir.
would that be okay?
I can decline, sir. Right?
So in private, if I
So you got a PCSO here,
Okay.
refusing to
Question
identify
to you.
himself. Okay.
I walk into your...
21907.
Well done, that's it.
Okay.
That's what you're entitled to, and you've got it now.
Don't worry. Yeah, but you failed to do it, so you will be retrained on that, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
I appreciate customer feedback.
You were, well, you've got no absolute
So
respect
question-
for members of the public.
No,
You
what
have
you've got to
none at all,
understand
sir. You have none
if
at all.
I
I don't
walk-
have to
if I
listen to a
walk-
word you say, sir.
If I
You
walked
fail
into
to
your
identify
garden,
yourself to me,
would you
so
be able
I
to
do
ask me
not
to
speak
leave?
to you.
If I walked
okay?
into your garden, would I be able to ask
Yes,
you to
and
leave?
it's a civil matter,
That's
sir.
right. So can you please leave?
It's a civil matter. The
So
answer
I'm
is
asking
no,
you,
sir.
You're welcome to record.
The answer is
but
no,
please
sir.
go to the public
The
area.
answer is no, sir.
This is private.
The answer is no, sir.
The answer is no to what?
Okay, it's
Oh, it is
me
public.
moving.
Oh, sorry, it is private.
It's publicly accessible.
No, it's
publicly
not.
accessible.
There's a barrier there.
No,
public
not on the
access.
pavement, sir. And there's no sign
You're not on
saying
the
do
pavement,
not
you're in a
actually
private
come
car park.
through here.
You're in a private
There's
car
no,
park, not
yep,
a
that's
footpath.
because you forced me this way, sir.
I didn't force you.
Yes, you did.
You were stood here.
I
filming
stepped
through
down
our
off the
window.
steps and
No.
you walked right. The camera
You
don't
were
lie,
filming
sir.
through there while I was in the
Sir,
toilet,
I
which
have
is a bit
nothing
strange
more
to
to
me.
say to you.
Yeah, I came out
Okay?
the toilet and you're
You
filming
are
through
a
the glass.
complete bully boy, nothing more. You are
So
a
if I
complete
came
bully
to your
boy.
house and filmed
Number
through your
one, you
window, is that
failed to identify
I
yourself.
don't have to explain myself to you.
Yes, you do, sir.
until you're
Yes, you do, sir. Look, do me a favour. You don't even have the powers of a traffic warden. So do me a favour, and in polite words, please go, leave me alone to do what I'm lawfully allowed to
You're
do.
not allowed in this private area. That's not lawful.
Yes, I am, sir.
If I walked into your garden without
Yes, I
legal
am, sir.
purpose, would that be reasonable?
Okay.
Would that be reasonable?
It
It's a
becomes
simple
a
yes or no.
civil matter.
Could I walk into
It
your garden?
becomes You can walk into my garden.
And would you be happy with that?
Okay.
And I filmed you through your windows.
It makes no difference.
What about if I filmed you through your windows? Would that be okay?
It's a civil matter, sir.
It's not.
It is a civil matter.
It becomes a privacy issue.
When
it's
it's
like
public,
stalking harassment,
when it's
isn't it?
private property, it is a civil matter of
But
trespass.
filming through someone's private
It is
windows
a civil matter.
illegal.
I can film whatever my eye can see from the public. End of story.
But this is
It's
not a public
publicly
this is not a public
accessible.
area.
Sir,
You know
do me a
that.
favour. Do me a favour.
I appreciate you've got
Okay?
hobbies.
Do me a
but you have to do
favour.
it from
Do me a
that side.
favour. Just go away. Right. Look. If you want to do something about this, then go and get me a real police officer.
I don't think that there's any free to come and deal
Right.
with you.
Well, then, in other words, I'm going to carry on with my business.
I know you're trying to provoke a reaction because
I'm not.
like
You
to
came
subscribe,
out.
but it's
There was
sad.
2 nice officers that walked in there that said hello to me just round the corner and let me carry on
Yeah,
doing
you
what I'm
shouldn't be
doing.
filming through our windows,
Sir,
and
look,
you shouldn't be in the
I can
private
film
car.
whatever I can see. So do me a
You
favour. I'm going to carry on with my
I think
business.
you're
I'm going to
obviously
carry
being
on with my
obstructive and
business. So
difficult.
it's that simple. Okay. So you got a PCSO there that thinks he can throw his weight around. He was most probably bullied at school, and that's why he decided to put on that fake police officer's uniform, and that's what he's decided to do.
What you just watched was a PCSO using physical presence and verbal repetition as pressure tactics, banking on persistence alone to move the auditor along. He made contact, denied it, refused to identify himself, and kept falling back on the same private area claim. The auditor shut it down every time, pointing to the camera footage and refusing to be pushed around. What made the difference was discipline. He never let it turn emotional. He kept dragging the conversation back to the concrete facts, the footage, the pavement, the identification, and the civil nature of any access dispute. Once an officer stops explaining the law and just starts repeating himself, the authority behind that uniform begins to hollow out. The script collapsed, the pressure failed, and the camera recorded every moment of it. Know the difference between public photography and civil trespass. Hold that line calmly and force authority to justify itself every step of the way. So would you have stood your ground when that repetition started, or would it have made you step back?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. How are you?
Good, not too bad. Would you mind identifying?
Yeah, my name is PC Wells. My warrant number is Echo Alpha 022.
Thank you very
As
much,
you can
sir.
see on my shoulder.
Thank you
there,
very
sir.
much for identifying yourself.
Can I ask what you're doing here today, please?
Yes, I'm doing a lawful activity,
Okay.
and I'm down here to try and engage with some officers,
Okay.
like yourself, where you came out and you've been nice and polite. Not like this PCSO here came out and was completely in my face and pushing me away.
Okay.
Right. So I will say thank you very much for that, sir.
Okay.
And what I
Tell you what, give us 2 seconds, bud. I'll have a chat with him, and then do you want to go with Caro? Have a chat with Caro, and then we'll get 2 sides of the same story, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so yes, so I'm just down here because recently you've actually got the Police Federation for Sussex that did actually release a statement saying that they believe themselves that there is a complete divide between the public and the police.
Right.
So I'm just down here. As you know, there aren't many police on the street at the moment. A lot of them go around in vehicles. The main place you can see the police is at a police station.
Okay.
Now, as I've come round, there's no signs around there saying no public beyond that point. That's why I'm allowed to actually access this under Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act of 1972. So I'm allowed access round here because there is no sign round the front. He came round when I was standing over there, and I've got it all on camera, and he just completely pushed up and pushed me into the corner. You can see I walked with a stick, and he tried to push me over. Right?
Okay.
I will be filing assault charges for that because he should not have done that. Also, he failed to identify who he was. Right. Not like yourself. When you came out, I asked you to identify yourself. You done that. It was perfectly fine. Okay. Now, what I will actually show you, just so we can actually clarify this. Okay. So, not like what this one does, I understand. As you can see, that is from the NSPCC.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, you must know who the NSPCC are.
The NPCC.
NPCC.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do. Yeah.
Yep. So
Just give me 2 seconds.
No
I'll do
worries.
that.
No worries. Carry on. Good afternoon, my darling. Sorry, I won't call you my darling because I know some people don't like that. Would you mind just identifying yourself for me, if you don't mind?
PC Gawley.
Okay, and your collar number, please.
Echo Alpha 334.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So you can see clearly from that, okay, what's come out. I'm completely well within my rights to do so, and it says that we are allowed to do so. So, and once I've done my story, then I will make my way and I'll be off. Now, there were 2 officers that came out to get their lunch. They said good afternoon and everything else, and and they were really pleasant. And that's how it should be. And they wonder why there's a divide. Now, the way that you've come out, if you were on the street, that would be a fantastic interaction with any member of the public. And that's what the public want to see.
Of course.
It's when you get somebody like this gentleman here, and the way that he went, that is what gives good officers a bad name. And that's what we have to come away from. And that's why I just come down to see what officers' views were on whether or not they believe there is a divide.
That moment right there is what real accountability looks like. A uniformed officer stepped in, gave his details straight away, actually listened rather than posturing, and committed to hearing both sides of the story. The auditor immediately used that contrast to his advantage, calmly pointing out the difference between this officer's approach and the shove that came before it. And just like that, the entire atmosphere of the encounter shifted. Notice what the auditor did there. He did not just vent or complain. He made a deliberate comparison between the aggressive PCSO and the officer now standing in front of him who was conducting himself properly. That contrast did something powerful. It pulled authority toward the professional and made the earlier behavior look exactly what it was, indefensible. Because the auditor stayed composed throughout, the defensive posturing from before lost all its psychological weight. This is what happens when calm, informed engagement meets genuine professionalism. One officer choosing to listen was enough to expose everything that was wrong with what came before it. Hold your ground, stay measured, and let the contrast do the work for you. When you understand the guidance, you can tell the difference between lawful policing and someone running a bluff. So did that respectful officer manage to salvage the encounter, or had that earlier shove already done too much damage? How would you have handled that?
It's something that I'm not going to comment on,
Okay.
for the simple reason of
And that's your right
we have
not to
our
comment.
media departments that speak on
Yep.
behalf of the police. I'm very conscious that we are all stood here in a uniform, and that my personal comments on the matter could then be construed as being the views of Sussex Police, and that's
Yeah,
not the
no,
case.
no, that's fair
See,
enough.
my views are my own, but when I wear this uniform, I represent Sussex Police,
Yep.
as do my colleagues here. Okay?
That's fair enough.
So, with respect to you, sir, I'm going to refrain
That's
from
fine.
commenting.
That's not a problem,
And
sir.
If you wanted a comment from the police service in relation to the divide between
Yeah,
us and the
I've
public,
contacted the press office a
Right.
number of times, but they only ever seem to get back to me when there's something good to actually be
Right,
said.
okay.
And that is a sad thing, because this is what creates the divide. When something goes wrong, right, it's good officers that do need to stand up and say, look, this is what's happening, and they do need to go forward. And as I said, you've been really polite, you've been really professional, and it's been really, really good. As I said, if you don't want to answer the question, you don't need to answer the question, and that's perfectly fine. That's well within your rights to do so. But what is not acceptable is what this actual PCSO did. That's not acceptable in
again,
any way.
I can't comment on that because obviously I didn't witness that again. And like you said, you're well within your rights to make any sort of complaint that you wish to do so. And if you need to know how the process works in relation to making an internal complaint about a member of Sussex Police staff, we can go through that. That's not a problem.
That's fine.
In the interest of, like you said, I've been polite with you and been absolutely fine with you, and I appreciate what you've said about the signage. And that is obviously something that we will have to address if that is the case. But can I ask for there to be some sort of compromise between the two of us? I'm happy to continue having a conversation with you, for the time being. But this is a private car park, whether it's signed or not. Like I said, you've quoted the Act of Parliament to me. However, I'm going to ask for some sort of compromise between the two of us, considering that I've been absolutely perfectly polite with you, and therefore I see no reason for you to to sort of not want to engage with me and to come to some sort of agreement. Okay. I cannot stop you doing what you're doing in terms of your filming and things like that. The only thing I'm going to ask politely is that you don't do it in our private car park, because we should be challenging people to see whether they have police ID when they are in this particular area.
And that's perfectly fine, sir.
So
that is perfectly
all
fine.
I'm going to ask is that if you want to continue filming the police station here today and doing whatever it is for your YouTube channel or whatever social media platform you're doing this for, that's fine. But could I ask you to do it the other side of the barrier where you've entered from today, please?
I will do. As soon as I finished here, okay, then I will actually move around.
And what is it that you are hoping to gain from being in this car park?
Well, no, I'm walking around and I'm looking at the whole building. Okay, the cars that are in here, they don't bother me at all. Okay, they're over there. I'm focused on the building.
Fine.
Okay, is what I'm focused on.
And what part of the building have you got up to this point?
I got to here, okay, when this gentleman came out.
The building itself, because again, I'm sure you know your boundaries better than I do, I'm sure. But that's the only thing I'm going to ask. Okay?
Yep.
What just played out is a perfect example of why knowing your rights actually matters. Following the aggression that came before, this officer took a completely different road. He introduced himself properly, listened without interrupting, made clear he was not there to speak on behalf of the entire force, and chose to seek a middle ground rather than double down on confrontation. The auditor met that energy, explained his reasons for being there, and the tension that had been building simply began to lift. What the officer did tactically was subtle but effective. By staying respectful while still holding his own boundary, he removed the need for the auditor to fight for every single point. And in doing so, he exposed the earlier PCSO without saying a single word against him. The moment genuine respect entered the conversation, the bluff tactics from before became completely redundant. This is the encounter slowing down and finding its footing, with calm professionalism doing what aggression never could. Legal clarity is exactly that kind of protection. It allows you to separate a request that carries genuine lawful weight from one that is simply noise dressed up as authority. When you can tell the difference, you can stand firm and stay respectful at the same time without ever needing to raise your voice. So was the officer right to offer a compromise here, or should he have directly addressed that earlier shove? What would you have expected from him in that moment?
That's not the way you came out, sir.
Well, we can play the video back if you want.
That's not the way you came
play
out,
the video
sir.
back to my colleagues, and
Okay.
obviously they can give me
Don't worry,
feedback.
you will get that when you actually get the complaint through.
But
And as I
obviously-
said, failing to identify yourself, okay, that's something that you will be
Well,
trained.
as I said to you,
need to
is
take
we
it from
need-
these
we-
officers
we need to,
and
you
actually
need to cooperate
see
with us
what
as well,
you
don't you?
said.
That's what I was trying to
Well,
understand.
not
is-
the way that you came out.
the point
Number
of-
one, you have no power as a community support
No, but I have
officer.
the
That's what
authority to ask you to leave the private area that we
you have
represent.
no authority.
We do on this private area.
You
we
have
do.
no authority,
There we go.
sir.
See, this is what I mean. You're difficult.
No, I'm not
And
being
and I'm
difficult.
sure if
You
someone-
actually have no authority.
Just
You're
bear
not
in
the
mind,
landowner.
If a member
It
of
is
the public
public
came to your
property.
house, recorded you through your
It
window,
is public property.
you would call the police and say, "Oh, there's
No,
strange going on here.
I
Someone's
won't,
recording
because
me
they
through my
never,
window."
they never turn up, sir. They
Well, I
never
would
turn
come.
up, sir.
So, thank you for letting us have a read
No
of your
worries,
guidance
that's
there.
fine,
The
you're
only
more than
thing
welcome.
the only thing that we've got concerns for, which I'm going to ask
Yep.
you to just clarify, is just in relation to point 1.4 here. Okay, and just to be mindful of these bullet points here
Yeah,
and how
yeah,
you're,
yeah, and that's perfectly fine.
And I'm certainly not. I'm not going to be
Yep.
defending my colleague because I can't comment because I
Yep.
didn't witness it. However, you've kind of got to understand from our point of view that surrounding 1.4 here,
Yep.
you know, and the hostile, reconnaissance and looking at layout of the venue, things like that. That obviously then raises concerns and
Yep.
suspicions with us. You've got the paperwork there.
Yep.
I just thought I'd like to
No,
point
no,
that out
and
to you,
that's
sir.
perfectly fine.
Okay.
And as I said, but then if you read the rest of it, that's what the way of actually doing it. But then if you actually then read through, it then tells you the way that an officer then should be acting towards somebody
I
that's doing
completely
it.
appreciate
And this
that.
is the thing. When you look at something like that, that's why. Thank you very much. Sorry.
That's good, and I completely appreciate that. And again,
And that is another reason why I keep this on me, is because it makes things much easier for everybody.
right.
And I know that people always say that, did you see the memo of 2020, okay, that went out? The first thing that everyone says is no.
So it makes sense
that's
for you to
why
have
it's
a copy
easy
of it.
to carry a
Of course.
copy. So it means then that people then can actually read it. As I said, you can take
course.
as long as you need for it. And all I wanted to do, as I told you, was come, engage, exactly as I'm doing with yourself, sir. And you can see I'm really chilled, really relaxed. But then when you look at the way that that gentleman was, I'm
And
sorry,
again, I
that was a
can't comment on
disgrace.
that because I didn't witness it. I'm
Yep.
sure he's got his body-worn video rolling, and you've obviously got
Yep.
your camera footage. That will ultimately determine the interaction between
Yep.
yourselves. However, again, because I wasn't there, in the interest of what he has said and treating everyone here fairly, if he had then concerns that you were maybe up at the window, I don't know because I didn't see that myself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
but
sorry,
that's why I
sorry,
highlight
can I
that
just
point.
say one thing? Excuse me, could you just make sure that that footage is actually saved, and you should have told me under 3.5 that you turned your camera on, sir. Also as well, did you two turn your cameras on, if you don't mind me asking?
So we have these overt pieces of equipment here with the label that makes it clear that the cameras
Yep.
are on. And we've got a little red light. I know it's not the easiest in daylight, but it shows that it is
Yep.
on at the moment.
But just so you know, under your policy, you do need to tell a member of the public when you do turn it on.
The officer reframed the situation around concerns about hostile reconnaissance, defended the decision to ask questions, and found a way to soften what had happened earlier without actually excusing it. The auditor came straight back with printed guidance, questioned the PCSO's authority to act the way he did, and flipped the whole conversation from vague suspicion into a direct debate about where lawful boundaries actually sit. What made that move so effective was the timing. The auditor did not get drawn into arguing abstract points. He produced the written standard itself and put it right in front of the officer. That single move forced the officer into explanation mode, took the heat out of the exchange, and transferred the weight of the conversation away from suspicion and onto documented policy. This is what it looks like when education beats insinuation on the spot. The moment that paperwork landed, the rhetoric lost its footing, and authority found itself having to explain rather than assert. Carrying the actual guidance strips confusion and bluff of their power entirely. When you know the rule and you have it with you, vague pressure has nowhere to go. Study the guidance, stay composed, and hold any officer to the standard of justifying restriction with something real and lawful. So did producing that printed policy genuinely shift this encounter, or was the officer already moving in a reasonable direction before it came out? What would your next move have been?
Okay.
It is part of your policy. And so, as I said, for that gentleman, I know that I will be requesting his copy.
Well, all of
because
our
that was
footage
so
gets
wrong.
automatically retained for 30 days.
That's fine.
And then if there is a requirement for it to be saved longer than that 30 days, we
Yep.
have the facility of
Yep,
doing that.
that's fine.
So rest assured, I'm not sure if his camera was on. I'm going to presume that it was.
At first it wasn't,
Right.
but as I said, it was so wrong the way that he came out. It really, really was.
And are you aware of how to make a complaint to Sussex Police if you so wish?
I know each police force is different. I know that they do operate slightly different. So if you wouldn't mind telling me, that would be
So
amazing.
ultimately, the best course of action would be to call 101.
Yep.
Go through to our Sussex Police contact centre and log the complaint with them. They will give you a unique reference number to log your call, and that should then be passed on to our professional standards department, who they have a duty to contact you within a certain time. I couldn't tell you what that time period is.
Yep.
I'd like to say it's 24 hours, but I don't know that for
Okay.
fact.
Yep.
They will then contact you, discuss the complaint with you, and then they will liaise with the relevant officers, the relevant PCSOs, look at all of the footage that is available to try and then come to some sort of resolution with you as to how you would like your complaint dealt with.
Yep.
Okay?
No worries, that's
Perfect.
perfect. Can I say thank you very much for your time? I appreciate both of your times.
You're welcome.
And most of all, do have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you very
And
much.
be safe while you're out there.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Can I just clarify? Do you need to do anything more in the car park?
Yeah,
or-
I just wanted to get that bit just along there, and then
that's
that's
fine.
me then done
And again, in
done
the
around
interest
here.
of us building a good rapport with each other, if I could just ask you to say a certain distance away from the windows of the building and things like
Yep.
that, because
No,
we do have
That's
officers
perfect.
working in
That's
those
perfectly
offices
fine.
and stuff. Perfect.
Not a problem.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for your
That's not
time.
a
I really
problem.
appreciate
We are
it.
still going to linger
Okay.
here because again, this is a private car
That's
park.
fine. That's
And,
perfectly fine. As I said, I'll only be a few minutes. I'm just going to go over there, and then I'll then be going back round the front.
Not a problem, sir.
No worries. Thank you very
You
much.
take care, all right?
That exchange right there laid the whole encounter bare. After calling out the officer for activating body-worn video without giving proper notice, the auditor did something most people would not think to do in that moment. He shifted gears completely, moving from challenge to procedure, asking how to secure the footage and what the correct process was for filing a complaint, before calmly agreeing to a reasonable request about distance. Just like that, the tension dissolved, not because anyone backed down, but because knowledge and courtesy walked in and replaced confrontation. Look at how the strategy evolved once the legal point had been made. The auditor stopped pushing on emotion and started building a record instead. Preserve the footage, identify where policy failed, establish the complaint pathway, then agree to sensible boundaries. That composure gave the officers a way out while keeping accountability firmly on the table. This is what it looks like when a pressure situation becomes evidence control, with politeness pinning authority down far more effectively than anger ever could. When you understand the policy, you can challenge misconduct, protect the evidence, and still conduct yourself with complete respect throughout. That is the real takeaway from everything you just watched. Legal knowledge gives ordinary people genuine leverage, and a camera plus composure is a combination that is very hard to argue against. So would you have pushed the body camera issue the way he did, or would you have let it go once the officers softened their approach? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want more breakdowns where law beats intimidation and cameras create accountability, hit like, subscribe, and stay with us for more.